Hello and welcome to this lesson on creating a serverless backend with generative AI capabilities for handling contact forms on static websites. This lesson provides a complete end-to-end solution covering backend development with AWS services like API Gateway, Lambda, Bedrock, and Simple Email Service, as well as front-end integration with the contact form of a static website. By the end of this lesson, you'll have a functional contact form that works effectively with a static website, ready to receive user messages and process them through your serverless backend. The contact form you build will have a unique feature. It will integrate generative AI technology. So when visitors come to your website and submit the contact form, they'll receive an automated email confirmation from you that includes a unique AI-generated inspirational quote. Each form submission will trigger the creation of a new quote leveraging Amazon Bedrock's advanced language models, demonstrating how generative AI can be applied to simple web interactions. My name is Deniz Yilmaz, and I'm an AWS content creator here at Digital Den Cloud. As an AWS community builder, I'm committed to sharing knowledge and best practices in cloud technologies. This lesson demonstrates practical, hands-on learning with AWS services. Feel free to connect with me to ask any questions using the details shown on the screen. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to create a serverless backend for handling contact form submissions. Integrate generative AI features into a serverless backend. Implement automated email functionality. Integrate a serverless backend with a contact form of a static website. Deploy the solution using the AWS Management Console. And deploy the solution using infrastructure as code with AWS SAM and Terraform. To follow along with this lesson, you'll need a registered domain name to set up Amazon Simple Email Service and Visual Studio Code with the live server extension installed for local testing of your static website. Please note, Amazon Route 53 is recommended for easier DNS configuration. While you can use any domain registrar, domains not managed by Route 53 will require additional steps for simple email service verification. A pre-existing static website is not required for this lesson. You'll use the HTML5up dimensions template, which includes a built-in contact form. This solution addresses a common challenge faced by static websites. Static websites have gained popularity due to their speed, security, and cost-effectiveness. They can be hosted on various platforms, including AWS, using services like Amazon S3 for storage, Amazon CloudFront for content delivery, AWS Certificate Manager for custom domain support, GitHub Pages, Netlify, and other similar platforms. However, static websites have a significant limitation. They lack the ability to handle dynamic operations such as processing contact form submissions. Traditionally, adding this functionality required setting up and maintaining a server-based solution, which introduces several challenges. A traditional server setup for contact form processing requires 24/7 server provisioning and management. While an Amazon EC2 instance could be used, it comes with several responsibilities, including continuous server operation, regardless of activity levels, ongoing server maintenance, including regular updates and patches, complex setup involving auto-scaling groups and load balancers to manage traffic fluctuations, and finally, constant costs for maintaining minimum infrastructure even during low usage periods. These factors introduce additional complexity, expenses, and management overhead, potentially undermining the simplicity and cost effectiveness that make static sites attractive. To overcome this challenge and maintain the advantages of static site architecture, a serverless solution can be implemented to handle contact form submissions. This serverless approach comes with some great advantages. It only charges for the compute time used to process form submissions. The system automatically scales to handle varying loads without intervention. There's no need to manage server infrastructure or worry about updates and patches. The solution can be easily integrated with any static website, regardless of its hosting platform. With this serverless approach, dynamic functionality can be added to a static site without needing traditional server management, preserving the simplicity and cost-effectiveness that makes static sites attractive. You might be wondering why we're integrating generative AI into this solution. Let's explore this. Many websites offer generic, pre-written responses to form submissions, which can feel impersonal. Incorporating generative AI into the contact form creates a unique experience for each user, potentially leaving them with a lasting impression. Integrating generative AI with serverless architecture demonstrates a practical application of emerging technologies in a common web feature, illustrating how advanced solutions can enhance routine online interactions, such as submitting contact forms. Now that we've covered the challenge static websites face with dynamic operations, I'll explain the solution you'll build step by step, detailing each component and its role in addressing these challenges. The process starts with a static contact form on your website. When a visitor submits this form, it sends an HTTP POST request to Amazon API Gateway. API Gateway then receives this request and invokes your AWS Lambda function. This Lambda function is the core of your solution. It will process the form data, contain a predefined prompt for inspirational quote generation, and invoke the Bedrock API with this prompt. Amazon Bedrock will then process the prompt and then generate a unique inspirational quote. The Lambda function receives the response from the Bedrock API and initiates the email sending process using Amazon Simple Email Service. Now, Amazon Simple Email Service handles the email delivery. It sends a notification email to you, the website owner, and it sends a confirmation email, including the inspirational quote, to a third-party mail service, which then delivers the confirmation email to the website visitor. This serverless solution manages the entire form submission, quote generation, and email delivery without needing traditional server management, seamlessly integrating dynamic functionality with static websites. Now we've outlined your serverless backend, let me explain how you'll connect it to the contact form of your static website. For the front-end static website, we'll use the HTML5 dimensions template, which provides a clean, modern design that you can easily set up and customize. We'll then modify the template's contact form to interact with our serverless backend. Specifically, this involves updating the form's action to point to the API Gateway endpoint URL. We'll then test the modified front-end locally using Visual Studio Code's live server extension. This approach allows us to interact with the contact form and verify its connection to the serverless backend without needing to deploy a static website or connector domain. Now that we've covered the backend setup and front-end integration, let's explore the deployment methods for this solution. We'll implement 3 different deployment strategies, each offering unique benefits. We'll begin with a manual deployment using the AWS Management Console, which involves setting up the AI-integrated serverless contact form step by step. This hands-on approach provides a deep understanding of each service and its interactions. It's an excellent way to learn, though it can be time-consuming for repeated deployments. Next, we'll introduce infrastructure as code and implement automated deployments using the AWS Serverless Application Model, or SAM. SAM is an open source framework that simplifies building serverless applications. You'll see how this method allows for quick and easy deployment of Lambda functions and API gateway. Finally, we'll deploy the backend one last time using Terraform. Terraform is another infrastructure as code tool like SAM, but it differs in several key ways. It is cloud agnostic, not AWS specific like SAM. It manages a broader range of resources beyond serverless applications. It uses its own state management system for tracking infrastructure changes and provides a consistent workflow across different cloud providers. As we progress through these methods, you'll witness the evolution from a manual setup to a more robust, scalable one. You'll see how infrastructure as code makes your serverless contact form solution easier to manage, update, and scale in the future. In the following video, you'll start with Amazon's simple email service, the backbone of your email functionality. Setting this up first will ensure that your email sending capabilities are in place and verified before progressing to more complex components. Let's build it.